Today we are talking about the background, values, and principles of Caesar Guerini USA. We are joined by their president and CEO, Wes Lang. None of this would be possible without the help of this channel's sponsors and viewers like yourself. Every bit goes a long way when it comes to the realm of YouTube. So I ask that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and most importantly, sit back and enjoy. If you have questions or want to share your experiences, be sure to post them below. If you enjoy the videos I put out, you might also enjoy the podcasts and the articles I publish. You can find them at the website, claylabusa.com. Without further ado, let's get into it.
My name is Wes Lang. I'm the president of Caesar Guerini USA, part of the inception of Caesar Guerini, creating the company and developing products for the United States. We started the company right after 2000. The interesting part is you like to say there's a starting date of a company, but is it when two guys are sitting down and drawing it on the back of a napkin? Or is it the first day you produce your first gun? Or, so I'm a little hard pressed at times to say this is the exact date. But let's say around 2000, we were getting things kind of organized, getting the idea, getting committed to the thought of starting Caesar Guerini. And this Giorgio Guerini and his brother Antonio and myself. And then I think it was 2003 or 2002 maybe, it's a while now, but it was April of those dates that we shipped the first gun to the US. We had produced prototypes up to that point, and we have shipped a few guns in Europe briefly, but we were getting together the products for the US market, and in April of that year, we delivered the first guns. So we're a little over 20 years old in total, from front to back. There was no Caesar Guerini before that. Part of the funny story is we would get people saying, oh yeah, my grandfather had a Caesar Guerini, and giving me the history of Caesar Guerini. I'm like, no, we invented that 20 years ago. There is no Caesar. Guerini is Giorgio and Antonio's last name. But there is no Caesar. That's kind of just part of the marketing around this Roman theme. We started with Caesar Guerini, as I was saying, around 2000. We got the company rolling, and we worked with a number of vendors. One of the things I think some consumers might have a misconception about is that factories are totally internalized, and not really, not even car manufacturers are. So everyone has vendors that make certain parts. We had, as a new company, we made components, but we had a lot of vendors, that were helping us in the beginning as a startup company. And one of those vendors was a big company called Fabarm that is one of the largest in Italy, but they had all of that kind of production internalized. They were big enough, like the Beretta Group, to have all of that within its, four walls, so to speak. So they were a vendor of parts of the barrels for us and some other components, and along with other people. But we started developing a kind of a long-term bond and relationship with that company, and eventually the owner was looking to retire and didn't have family to succeed him. And so at the end of the day, we worked out a situation where we acquired 50% of Fabarm, and then a few years later, the balance of the company in its entirety. And that created our manufacturing group. Those two factories are separated about 40 minutes apart driving. One in the valley, Caesar Guerini is in the valley, and Fabarm is in a big industrial park outside of the valley. Anyone that's been to the valley will realize that the Gardone-Valtrompia Valley is geographically very small. So there's very little room to build a new big factory building. So almost 20 years ago now, I think it was 20 years more or less, when Fabarm built their factory, there was no room in the valley. So they're in the big industrial park, because it's a big sprawling facility. Caesar Guerini, on the other hand, we started in a rented building, right? A rented factory building. And we then, in turn, in like 2005, 2006, maybe, built our own factory. It was the first industrial factory, from my knowledge, in that valley in 50 years in the gun business. So that gives you an idea of how old the industry is in that valley and how small the valley actually is. And then 10 years ago, the other brand that we have, that we started conceptualized the brand here in the United States and then spread worldwide, was the Siren brand. And I say Siren brand because it's important. Siren is not just a model of a gun we have in the Caesar Guerini line. We really segregated Siren out as its own brand. It even has women as management of the company and our pro staffers and the rest of it. And it's a whole brand associated, and we really want women to have ownership of that brand. And we do utilize both factories to produce product for the Siren brand, but that's so we can have semi-autos and over and unders and different price points. And that has just turned 10 years old, and we're really proud of that because I think it's helped a lot of women shooters get the right equipment, but it's also helped spark, or should I say more, kick the industry in the ass to get busy making the proper products for women so that they can go out and enjoy the sport. And so I feel like we've done a service by dragging the whole industry into it a little further. You know, before that, it was some really miserable, attempts at taking a youth gun or something and here you go, but these are designed from the ground up to fit women shooters and to address their different needs as far as shooting goes. When it comes to Siren, I'm particularly very proud of that project, and it's been a tremendous success for us, over this 10 years, and it's still growing in leaps and bounds. We're proud of that. So I've told this story to young people too, because I think it's helpful. I was at a place where just finishing school, and I had to decide really what I wanted to do for a living. And so I had some things happen in my life. My father had passed away unexpectedly. Family business kind of was centered around my father. So thoughts of doing that were really not viable, but not something I was super passionate about anyhow. And I'm trying to figure out what do I want to do. And it was probably late 80s that I got involved with my father in shooting sporting clays. And when I get into something, whether it's the outdoors or any sport, I get in deep, right? So I was shooting sporting clays and I absolutely loved it. And I had read an article about self-made millionaires. And this is a little bit of a lengthy story, but I'm gonna try to summarize it as quickly as I can. I thought that sounds interesting, given my position of not having any money and an education and having to figure it out. And the summary of that was, the university found that out of the 100 people they found, that it couldn't be with family money or anything like that. They had to start from the absolute ground up. That all of them had no really commonality except for everybody made the comment, or even if it was paraphrased one way or another, that I do this because I love it, not because of what I do, not because of the money, rather. It's because of what I love to do. And people decided they wanted to pay me well for that, but that wasn't the goal. I love what I do. And I thought about that for a long time, and I thought, wow, I was doing a job that I didn't like, just like every other kid. And I was thinking, that's the way to do it. You spend all the best years, at least physically, of your life slaving away at a job. If it's something you love, you're gonna do it well and you're gonna be a happy person, right? Money's not the issue, it's happiness is the issue, right? So I know that seems obvious to a lot of people. But if you talk to people that are really happy in what they do, they'll all say the same thing to you. The money is not the issue. What brings me happiness is what I get up in the morning and do every day. And I figured that's what I've got to do today. I got to figure out, what do I love? So I started taking inventory of all the stuff I love. Some of the things that I did that I loved, you really shouldn't make a living out of. But of the things that I thought of that I really, really love doing, at this point, at 20 years old or something, 21, I was really passionate. My grandfather was a big trap shooter. I was really passionate about the shooting sports. And I played other sports and participated in other sports that I know that I can't, or young men sports, young person sports that I can't participate in at an older age. It's too dangerous, too demanding. So this is something you can do in your 80s and 90s, even if you're healthy. And I thought, boy, I just love it. I love it to death. This is what I want to do. And that's what got me into the firearm business. I went to work for a big wholesaler, RSR Guns, still a big national wholesaler in Orlando. I then went and worked for Seminole Gunworks and traveled around the country selling choke tubes and shooting competitively. Then I went to work for Beretta as the shotgun product manager and then the marketing director. And then I was hired by SIG Arms as the vice president of marketing for SIG Arms. And then as SIG Arms was being sold off to a new investor, I got an opportunity, someone approached me about going into the publishing business. So I spent a few years in LA at Peterson's Publishing as the group publisher for the outdoor group. So that's my whole history. But an interesting point is when I stepped away from firearms, which I love dearly in the shooting sports, I thought going into the publishing business, because it was guns and ammo and Peterson's hunting and Peterson's shotguns even at that time, was that I was still staying in it. But I realized that I had made a misstep. The job was wonderful, beautiful, you know, in every way. It was on paper spectacular, but I came to the realization about a year in that I have taken one step too far away from where my real happiness was, and that is shooters, the sport, the product, and all the people I love and participate with in that I was, yeah, we talk about it, yeah, we create content about that. I even go out and do it sometimes, but I actually had become once removed. I thought that was a mistake. And during that period of time, when I was at SIG, I had become friends with this young, really energetic guy named Giorgio Guerini. He worked for his uncle at Battista Rizzini, B. Rizzini. He's a real firecracker, this guy, you know, but you can't help but like him. And so we became great friends, just was fantastic. He got the wild idea that he didn't want to work for his uncle anymore for a number of reasons, and his brother also did, as far as he was the engineering guy, and they were going to wanted to start their own thing and wanted me to do it with them. And I got sucked in on that deal, and it really wasn't, sucked in is the wrong, I'm kind of joking that way. I did do a little soul searching because I was in an amazing job at an amazing level in the industry. It was really great, but you know, what he was essentially asking is that, you know, why don't you take everything that you've acquired and risk it on making no money for a long time until we can do something with this, hopefully, right? With a lot of credit to my wife, we agreed to do that, and I left the publishing business and came back, and we started Caesar Guerini, and that's my whole sordid history, really. Really, I think as an owner, you know, you have a little bit of a different perspective. You know, that it might sound a little, you know, trite or something when I say, but we want to make better product every day. And we want to make cooler product every day. You know, one of the things that I tell people, and this is not and this is not even really something I talk to people when I'm trying to convince them to buy our gun, but I say, you know, take a gun that we made in the early years, in the first few years, because we make a lot of the same models, you know, our bread and butter, kind of the Summit Sporting, right? Take a Summit Sporting from 20 years ago and put it down on a table next to what we make today. Vaguely, they're the same gun. I mean, they are really, I mean, the same barrel length, but in every way, the gun has changed. You know, in every aspect, both mechanically, aesthetically, everything you can do to make it different and refine it is differently. And every year we strive to make improvements to the product nobody's even asking for. Can we make this better? Can we do that cool? Can we do this? And that's what actually at the end of the day brings the happiness. You know, for Giorgio, for myself, if we love what we're doing and we make that Revenant right there, this Invictus 9 or whatever it is, and it's just a really cool thing, you know? No one's ever made that forehand like that in production, and it's just something different you can do, but we can do it with CNC machines and all that. That's what keeps us going in the morning, keeps us really, you know, jazzed. And so our focus is on just doing all of it better because we have pride in accomplishing that. And what in turn ends up happening is customers end up appreciating it and liking our products more and more. So it kind of feeds on itself. It's like an upward spiral, right? If something's not selling, we don't ever take a look at discounting something or cheapening it or something. We go back and we say, how can we make that better so it's more appealing? The value ratio, making it higher. Or do we have to change it because we made the wrong features? We'll make the new features. You know, we realize that we got to be better. And by doing that, your product's always improving. If you're looking about how you can run a rebate or do a discount on something, you're actually devaluating your product, and then you're kind of painting yourself into a corner. In a nutshell, we're looking to continue to improve our production, improve our quality, improve our product portfolio. We're dealing with how do you grow at the rate we're growing and maintain that, and not maintain quality, excuse me, that's incorrect. Improve quality while you're growing. And those things are a lot of challenges, but those are the competitive challenges that keep you going. We see, hopefully continuing to grow, but make our products better and better every day. That's why we back them up with, and I'm getting off on a bit of a tangent, but that's why we back them up with a lifetime warranty. We were the first ones to do that, and it was a pretty audacious thing, but it's because we really, really care, and we're shooters. Giorgio is a shooter, I'm a shooter, most of the people that work for the company shoot, and we want to make what we want to shoot, and we want to be treated the way we want to be treated if we buy something, right? And that's why we strive to give the best quality customer service in the business, because it's like what we owe, personally what we owe to you if you've invested in us. That's the way we feel about it. And it's hard to win that every single day, but we strive to try to win it every day. And but as you grow, you need more people. People are hard to find. Facilities could get outgrown. New machines need to be bought, and it just goes on and on and on. But that's what we're doing. I think there's a lot of good products out on the marketplace. And I think as a new shooter, you need to take a look at buying value. In the Fabarm line, that's one of our specialties, but you need to buy a good quality product. And I think that's more important than ever these days, because there's a lot of products. I think educating yourself as a new shooter, right, is important, because there's a lot of products on the market, specifically from places like Turkey, that kind of look like the same product, but the durability and the safety are not there. And especially when I think about safety and these other issues, the way things are proofed. Do they have a policy of proofing their product and certifying that it's safe and all these other things? These are worries for me. I think the customer should really research it and buy the best quality they can buy, even if it's a secondhand gun. When they look at our product, we have a pretty vast portfolio of things. So today we're trying to produce products at a lot of different price points. So Caesar Guerini is one price point. Fabarm is a slightly different price point. Caesar Guerini specializes in very traditional and high-end aesthetics. Fabarm is more modern aesthetic and less focus on like engraving and things like that. But I mean, we're engraved, but it's not our focus. And so we have this big portfolio of product, but it's all, made in Italy, 100% made in Italy. It's all proofed at the highest levels for safety. It's all this technology we put into it. And if you're a new shooter, I think that investing in, and we're not the only one there, but there's other good companies that do the same, but investing in something that is going to be a good working tool for you and safe. If you've been shooting for a while, I think we offer levels of competitive product, for example, that has won world championships and the rest of it, right? And we're very in tune with what are, the newest configurations and what we're doing, and we've innovated a lot of product ourselves, of new styles and new trends in the business, and we're always looking to do that. And I think that on the high end, our gun can take you as far as you want to go. The handling, certainly the durability, or everything from our trigger pulls to the way the gun bounces and shoots, I think will take you as far as you feel like going with it. For that middle range of consumer, if you started at a lower end, you're looking to take that nice jump without getting into the 5 figures, for example. We offer a lot of product in that range. It's a nice step up, and we also make products that compete with the world's best. So we can kind of accommodate you throughout the spectrum of product, and that's not even going into Siren, which is a whole nother venue of the same. I'll start off by saying we try to do it all, and we try to do it all, it's just like, a good parent will tell you, there's no substitute for hard work. But hard work is what you owe your customers as well, right? So we try to be everywhere. We're one of the biggest print advertisers in the endemic media, so when we say endemic media, that means a gun magazine, all that traditional print media. you know, but all the magazines that are focused on guns and shooting and all that. We're one of the biggest print advertisers in the business. Everything from social media to all of our digital content. We're always creating and producing new content like we're doing today, but we're doing that constantly and trying to stay on the cutting edge of that. We try to make any data you need about us available at all times. You know, so we're very data rich on our website. So if you want to know how much offset is on that comb or what the pitch of a certain stock is, I've got it for you. You want to know barrel weights, whatever it is, we want to make sure all those deep resources on the technical end. If you like to geek out on the technical end, we try to make those easy to get. Before we get into being on the road, also, if you call Caesar Guerini, you're always going to talk to a human being. You're going to also talk to a knowledgeable human being, right? So a great example of that is if you send a gun in for service, and you have a question about your gun being worked on, you will actually talk to the person that's working on your gun, right? So the person that is doing the work on the gun will have that conversation with you directly. And that's a level of commitment that other manufacturers won't give you. But that's the way we want to make sure that you're comfortable with what we do and we are giving you the best service. And then try to be at as many outdoor events and venues and trade shows that we can. We're everywhere from Dallas Safari Club to Pheasants Fest with Pheasants Forever to a number of waterfowl places and all kinds of hunting events. But on the competition end, we're at all the big shooting tournaments. We have buildings in San Antonio and at the Grand and in Ohio and Arizona. We're going to be, and we're enlarging that. We have 5-6 major trailers around the country, and those trailers are not just for marketing. Where we're at all these events is not to sell you something, is not to see our logo or our flag hanging out by the front entrance. We're there with a gunsmith to give you free service. One of the things that we really revolutionized is this service of a competition gun like this. If you put 20,000 rounds through it and you want the gun gone over, instead of charging you, that's complimentary as a Caesar Guerini owner, right? So we're there doing that in person like we are today, right? We don't charge you. So we always thought it was silly to charge you $70 for a spring that costs us 30 cents, right? That's not good customer service. So we do all that no charge for our customers. That's part of our commitment to you. And we're at all these events around the country with our gunsmiths, traveling there with all the parts and all the equipment you need to service the product. First come, first serve. Done. You can have a repair done. We're there to support all those shooters at all these events. And all that costs us time, effort, and resources, but it's our commitment to our customers.
If you enjoyed this video, consider joining as a channel member by clicking the join button below for early access to videos and to help this channel grow. This is JP, and until next time.